My name's Emma Findler, I'm from Wallscope. The challenge that we were working on was from the Information Services Division of the NHS, and we were answering the challenge, how can we help them make their data publications more accessible and appealing?
I'm David Eccles, Product Director at Wallscope. We heard about CivTech from two of our intern engineers. They're very active in the tech scene in Edinburgh, and obviously CivTech had positioned itself well in that environment. They were very taken with the people who presented about a CivTech to them. So that gave us a lot of confidence, and we were very interested in following up ideas coming from our interns, so we decided to apply on that basis. We're also very taken with CivTech because it gave a different approach to being in procurement. It gave us a procurement route into the public sector, which we'd really struggled with for some time. Entering CivTech, we obviously had to be certain that we had something to offer. We'd been working on R&D for a couple of years. We realised there was a value in the public sector, so we kind of verified that what we could deliver was actually viable technically, and also looking at the product alignment, could we align with the challenge where we could ask value and understand the challenge which was put to us. We did a lot of research on the challenge sponsor, which was National Health Services Information Services Division, and we did a lot of research into what might be driving them and the strategic framework. Be certain of the challenge and understand the challenge, because it's actually essentially client driven. So if you approach it as a client project, then you've also got this other dynamic of working across the CivTech group. And I think the thing is, everyone's boat can rise in the same tide. It should be collaborative, it should be cooperative, and there's things to learn from everyone involved. The exploration phase was really trying to understand what was driving the needs operationally and within the productization which ISD needed to do. CivTech is inherently disruptive, and we also look to adopt a disruptive attitude in terms of how we approached it. The challenge, we challenged the challenge. We realised that the problem was not about visualising data. That's actually quite trivial for us, but what our technology allowed was us to join different data sources and bring them into an analytics framework which could then be visualised. Bringing that together coherently meant working very closely with the challenge sponsor and their team. Part of that was being located out at the challenge sponsors' offices, and that created a lot of very positive relationships. We might say friendships as well, but that was a very positive thing, to actually be open to the team that we were working with and allow them to be open to us. So we could communicate, we could articulate perhaps issues they hadn't considered, and they'd be receptive to that. We had a very positive experience of working with the challenge sponsor. That didn't make it always easy, but both parties wished to get over any issues of communication. We also needed to recognise that they were driven by other things within their own internal political and operational needs.
So I started working at Wallscope during the accelerator phase of the CivTech challenge. My experience involved going into the workshops, and there was a really wide range of workshops covering everything from marketing to finance, product development and business development. They were very thorough and they covered a lot of ground, and it was great working with the other teams as well and getting inspiration from them and their challenges too.
We basically split our team out into two functional areas. One was external facing and one was internal facing. The internal looked at the technology and the close-up detail of working with the challenge. The other looked at the communication needs. We recognised that very important, that how we ordered our team, structured it and actually built it. We're exposed to a lot of different people who had an interest in CivTech, and as a business we wanted to be able to create the right level of visibility. We worked on our brand, we worked on some of our communication assets, which we're still doing, and we're actually really pleased how that aspect has supported our business. In terms of pure relationships, I think the environment within the CivTech studio was very productive. There was a good social aspect to it, and once that perhaps the idea of being competitive was out the way, then the scope for collaboration was placed there. As a business, we've always been agile. That's because we're a startup. We started with one idea of what our product offer was, but then as we moved forward, that actually changed. CivTech from the start for us was all about procurement. We'd actually looked at the procurement and spent some time looking at the procurement and created something which we could offer to people. We actually flipped the product round because we recognised that we could create a portfolio of products. The portfolio of products all are derived from our core offer that allows us to productize in multiple ways. So when we're approaching the challenge, we did have a technology which we could use. We developed that, but we actually changed what our offer was halfway through. Being in the CivTech environment, we felt it was actually a good place to do it, and actually going through the CivTech experience, we recognised it was the right thing to do because we had to productise towards the client. Procurement started this process and I had to end it.
So through the workshops I was focusing on developing Wallscope's branding. We had some great workshops on that. We developed our logo and message, trying to explain the technology to a wide audience. We developed a brochure and a logo. And really leading up to demo day, we wanted to make sure that we had all our messages and branding ready. So the demo day, it was great to see the culmination of everyone's work. It was a really dynamic event, really good atmosphere. There were a lot of high-profile delegates as well from lots of organisations, so there was great opportunities for networking, and we made a lot of valuable contact. So as a result of the CivTech work, we've taken on a number of new staff. We've got 2 student interns, one's concentrating on UI UX and one is working on the tech side of things. We've also developed relationships with some students from the University of Applied Sciences in Amsterdam. They came over to us to do a code sprint, working on uses of our API and applications for that. We also ran a data science symposium, which was looking at the role of the data science profession, what skills are needed there and what skills might need to be developed in the future.
After CivTech Demo Day, we did engage with some public sector clients on proof of concept projects, where that was amazing for us to achieve that, and hopefully it's been amazing for people who are in the public sector and can't always identify what they need to buy if they don't know it exists. We've also been very focused in and doing some proof of concepts with commercial clients. So we've ranged into the retail sector, we're ranging into the recruitment sector, and we've got some other interesting projects we've been looking at with prospective commercial clients. The relationship with ISD, as it continues, we could never have been close to that if we actually hadn't been through CivTech, and I think that's true for ISD and ourselves. It's a lot of mutuality in that. Going beyond that, we've actually continued to present to other parties from the public sector. We've got a list of those, and we continue to work very closely with some of those in developing proof of concept projects.